We are group number 3 and we will be presenting Ralph Lauren's financing liabilities. Just to give a brief company description, Ralph Lauren was founded in 1967 and is a publicly traded company on the New York City Stock Exchange. They are known for selling luxury goods including clothing, accessories, footwear, home fragrances, etc. Ralph Lauren Corporation is incorporated in Delaware but headquartered in New York City. It is likely to be incorporated in Delaware due to their business-friendly laws and courts. The umbrella company also consists of multiple subsidiaries around the world that handle all of its retail stores, wholesale deals, and sourcing materials, as well as their online sales.
Now, here's an overview of the financial liabilities. Current liabilities are largely up from last year as they are predominantly increasing with the accounts payable and income tax payable accounts. However, the largest increase is from paying off an almost $400 million senior note that transitioned from a long-term liability to a current liability. In all, we see an increase of $666.5 million in current liabilities from 2024 to 2025. As for long-term liabilities, we see it decreasing from the previous year, largely impacted by a decrease in long-term debt, which is due to a bigger than usual senior note that I mentioned earlier as a reason for the increase in current liabilities. We will touch on this more in the next slide. As for total lease liabilities, both current and non-current liabilities combined decreased by 9.3 million from 2024.
As Rico briefly mentioned, Ralph Lauren's main financing liability is its senior notes. Interest is paid semi-annually on these notes, with the $400 million note carrying a fixed rate of 3.750%, while the $750 million note, which is due in 2030, carries a lower 2.95% rate, reflecting the overall decline in market interest rates during the 2020 pandemic crisis when this note was issued. Both notes were sold at a slight discount, meaning investors paid less than face value upfront, which made the bonds more appealing to buyers, while Ralph Lauren remains obligated to pay the full principal at the maturity date. The bond indenture, which is the legal contract between Ralph Lauren and its bondholders, contains non-financial covenants that restrict certain actions including placing liens on assets or selling off major parts of the company. However, the indenture does not include financial covenants, such as limits on leverage, ratios, or debt levels, which gives the company more financial flexibility. Regarding the redemption options, the company can repay the notes early, but they must pay a price equal to accrued interest plus the greater of the face value or the present value of remaining payments, which is thus an expensive option. The $400 million note is being closed this month. At fiscal year end, when the 10K was drafted, the $400 million note was carried at $3.997 million due to issuance costs and discounts. As it matures this month, the value accretes to its full $400 million, which Ralph Lauren will repay along with final interest and explanations about why this value was moved to current liabilities, again as Rico mentioned.
So moving on to the credit rating and ratios, Ralph Lauren carries a solid investment grade rating with an A- from S&P Global and an A3 from Moody's, whereas Fitch doesn't currently have an assigned credit rating for the company. Leverage is modest at 2.3x debt to EBITDA, giving the company room to invest and return cash while maintaining a healthy cushion. Cash generation is strong, as its funds from operations cover 38% of total debt, supporting liquidity and ongoing deleveraging. Overall, this profile points to low refinancing risk and a conservative balance sheet consistent with the A- and A3 ratings.
So when looking at Ralph Lauren's credit risk, we believe that their credit ratings are reasonable. As Emily mentioned earlier, Ralph Lauren has a strong funds from operations to debt ratio of 38%, which shows their propensity to generate cash. Additionally, their debt to EBITDA ratio of 2.3x is higher than market average. They appear to be in a strong position to cover their financial obligations given these metrics, especially when comparing them to other competitors in the industry. And our group decided to take a look at PVH Corp, which is another strong player in the premium lifestyle market. They're known for their brands such as Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein. Right off the bat here, we can see that PVH has lower credit ratings than Ralph Lauren, a Baa3 from Moody's and a triple B minus from S&P, both representing the lowest tier of investment grade ratings. This indicates that PVH Corp is still capable of meeting its debt obligations, but not as comfortably as Ralph Lauren. Also, when looking at PVH's most recent 10Q, we found that their debt to EBITDA ratio is approximately 5.4x, which is significantly higher than Ralph Lauren's 2.3x, which means that they have more debt compared to their earnings. And additionally, their funds from operations to debt ratio is 15.4%, almost half of Ralph Lauren's. These metrics suggest that PVH is in a weaker position to cover its debt obligations, which support our view that Ralph Lauren's higher credit ratings are reasonable given their stronger financial position.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Here is our list of our sources that we used to complete this project.